Hey, Max here. I'm here with another video. Breaking news. Spider-Man No Way Home is actually woke. All the things that anti-SJWs, and shout out to Tony from the Geek Getaway for covering this in his video. The race swapping and all the complaining that anti-SJWs is super prevalent in the Home trilogy with Ned, MJ, Flash Thompson. So, why do they pick and choose when to be ignorant and bigoted? Bigoted. Sorry, Callie's been missing. Hey, Callie. Shh. Callie has been making it where. Oh my God, I'm not restarting again. Callie, get over here. She is making things miserable for my content on the internet. Because Callie. Okay. So I can't start again because she will just do it again. Every time I restart, she does this. This is my third time. So I am also enjoying these pre-recorded vids too. The live streams, the panels aren't going anywhere, but I do have to focus a lot on this content because there's going to be more of it. I am taking this channel to the next level with your help. So if you would be so kind to smash the like button, can we get 50 likes on this video? I would really appreciate it. And we're really going to examine how it could seem just normal trolling on the internet, but how it is actually extremely ignorant and bigoted to mock representation, and how you ignore history and context of a situation to prove a false narrative, and how actually disgusting it is to say to someone else that you're only successful because you're being propped up on your race. That's what we really need to examine. That's what we actually have to call out every time of what this man is doing and what he's making popular. Now, I will be first to say, Jeremy has the popular opinion on the internet. That does not mean it's right. And I waited to cover this till after the Fandom Awards and some other content I wanted to do. But now's the time to get back to business. Back to business. And I will be covering other news topics in this too. It won't just be mad reactions. I will be covering other bits of news in this format, as well as MME Live, member streams, mailbag streams, giveaways, and more to come. Stick with this madman, bro. Stick with him. I promise you. I will try my hardest. That's the only thing I can promise. I'll try my hardest. All right. So, of course, we know what game he is playing here with the even title of it. White male-led film, Spider-Man No Way Home shatters box office records. Is this a harmless... This is the question I'm asking to you viewers that I want you to comment in the comment section. I'm also going to try to engage with you more, even though you're not watching it live. I would love to read your comments. Is this harmless trolling for movies that potentially get more notice because of the new levels of representation there? Now, the go-to tactic of these bigoted, ignorant douchebags is they like to ignore context and history of how hard it is to get big money behind minority representation in Hollywood until recently. So has Hollywood jumped the shark? I actually don't think so. I think they can improve even more, but they are finally putting the money where their mouth is, regards to diverse casting and representation across the board. That means writing, behind the camera and in front of the camera. And what he is doing here is he is mocking that, acting like if he says white male lead and box office records, that is a apt comparison to what they are doing, for example, Shang-Chi or Black Panther. He's saying that they are getting an easy pass just because of representation, and he's saying they're not actually earning it on their own merits. If you call and all these arguments online, tokenization, woke marketing, if you are actually saying this, examine words matter. Examine what you're actually saying. If you see someone get hired in the real world that's not in the entertainment industry, you call them a token. That is extremely offensive. So, not only is this not harmless trolling, in my opinion, it's extremely offensive and bigoted. Why is it bigoted? Because we learned in the previous video that bigoted is unaccepting of other ideas. So, what do these idiots do? Every single time representation is brought up, they immediately view it one way to fit their narrative into their viewer's narrative, even if it's not the case. So they are intolerant of ideas of new representation, and they don't find the facts. They don't want facts. And then they hide by my opinion, hate. They hide by their hate, saying you just don't like my opinion. No, we don't like your ignorance and your absolute blocking any actual facts coming your way. You don't want facts because you want to use the same template for your next video to hate on a new level of representation. People with a brain actually realize what the struggles of minorities and Asian people too. For example, with Shang-Chi recently, that was the go-to tactic to dunk on Shang-Chi. This is bullshit. He's getting the easy pass, even though there's been Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee films in the past. Were they made in Hollywood with Hollywood money? No, they were not. Not most of them. Most of the ones that were made in Hollywood, Jackie Chan was a side character in Rush Hour. He has behind the scenes said that was not his favorite role, but he did it because people liked it. He had to play a dumbed-down character, a stereotype, somewhat in Rush Hour. Do I still like the Rush Hour films? I'll still watch them. But it's not accurate. It's not accurate. So they use a false narrative and all this bullshit, ignorant, juvenile arguments for something that's not there. So now let's watch the beginning of his video here, not the whole video. So you'll see what he's doing. He is mocking people that want representation. And yes, he is friends with some people of different races. But the moment a minority says that they are happy about representation, they are immediately mocked. That's why I can say confirmed bigotry. You don't know that person's life experience. You don't know what it means to them. And you don't care to do the research to understand it's a new level of representation. But this is what's applauded. Here we go. Oh, wait, that's the Geeks and Gamers intro on D-Day Cobra.
World has spoken, and they want more straight white male representation in film. That's what the numbers tell us right here.
No, he's doing this to get a reaction, but I'm explaining to you how actually damaging to the fandom and the online discourse this can be, because people are under the influence and they do use this obnoxious behavior to mock actual new levels of reputation and something that should be applauded. And then they are also, when you go with this false narrative, you are saying that the person or the content didn't earn it on its own merits. And that's extremely offensive. If you do this in the real world, do you go around saying in the real world where you work, that person was hired because they were token, or that the promotion wasn't warranted? They didn't do the hard work like these other films. This is I believe it's not a false comparison. It's an accurate comparison of what they are doing. And I'm trying to give light of what he's actually doing. It's not just a throwaway joke, meme, or, this should be called out every time. This is what he's doing. Let's continue.
Straight white male led film, Spider-Man No Way.
So he's trying to be sarcastic to try to mock when other films get articles saying that the first Asian or Marvel MCU film is getting really good numbers and reaction. He's trying to mock that and saying he's trying to use a false equivalency, sarcastic take to say if he's a white man and it's the same thing. And that's just not accurate. There is such thing as privilege and opportunities that a lot of people have experienced, and being this bigoted towards people that feel they haven't and feel it is a new level is disgusting.
A home shatters box office records, shatters my pandemic narrative, shatters everything in its path. And why? Well, because it was a good movie. No, it's not because it was a straight white male-led film. There was a lot more to do with it than that. But the left-wing nut job.
So he's trying to mock when a success of a new level of Marvel, with Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Shang-Chi. That's what he's doing here. And he's saying you shouldn't be able to market on. He's saying, in his opinion, you shouldn't be able to market it based on race. In the future, I could see that argument. At this moment in time, unfortunately, there is a need to market towards that as well, until everyone absolutely gets all equal opportunities. I'm sorry. And being slightly inconvenienced by your gatekeeping of a character in a franchise, because there's a slight change for more opportunities for more people, I'm sorry. You're going to be, you're going to have to take that a little bit. And that's the only way we progress and give more people more opportunities. And, even if it's not your biggest fan of it, if you cry about it although that's why I'm going to make, I shouldn't say this right now. I was going to make a meme of bigot babies. Yes, they are crying. They're reading about casting and people getting jobs because they're the gatekeepers of that fandom and that character. And they are not willing to see past their own life experience and actual other opinions, and just keep their hateful, uninformed, juvenile opinions. And that, I am giving an opinion on their opinion. And yes, I also will say to Tony, who said, it's ironic that you're being bigoted towards bigots. Can you be intolerant of intolerance? Yes, you can. If you're using it like that, that's still an accurate way to use it. Bigoted towards bigots. Am I intolerant of intolerance? Hell yeah, I am. Yeah, you shouldn't, you should be more. But here's another thing that he said. Jeremy said in a more recent video, can left leaning individuals do dog whistling and stuff too? After he got a threat, which I disavow any threats towards Jeremy. But he would, I'm not even giving excuses to why you got the threat. I'm saying I disavow it. Yes, you can have bigoted people on the left and the right. Yes, that is accurate. That is accurate.
Out there that love to obsess over race and gender and sexual orientation. They like to play that game. Well, let's see how much they like to play that.
Now, a lot of it isn't even. Well, some of it comes directly from MCU, Kevin Feige, when they're talking about new characters. But that's not the context of their interviews. A lot of it is people writing articles on the internet that know these fools will cover it. So there's also context there. They're just being the reactionary to the clickbait. And they're complaining about clickbait when they constantly talk about it, all right, let's watch a little bit more of this.
That game when I point out that Spider-Man No Way Home has straight white male representation, and it shattered every.
It also has a lot of race bending, and if you're talking about breaking narratives, I should do a separate video. Spider-Man No Way Home breaks the go woke, go broke narrative. It actually does. Thank you, Tony. Spider-Man No Way Home, the home trilogy, is extremely woke. If you go by their standards. Not to me. A little bit of race swapping here and there, I'm okay with. I'm fine with that. If the character's good, the character's good. It really comes down to writing. Ignorant, bigoted assholes only talk about superficial things and superficial arguments when it's actually about writing and execution. You will not hear that from these bigoted fools. from these bigot babies. You will not hear that argument. You will not hear about criticizing of writing and execution. You will only hear political buzzwords and dog whistling to people that hate based on superficial things. These people are superficial. They don't like context. They don't have no research, and they are intolerant of people that say they want representation or it's new level of representation, instantly mocked. That's why I can 100% confirm again what he is. Okay, let's do a little bit more here.
Box office record imaginable. Obviously, it's not the biggest opening weekend ever, but it's pretty damn close, and it surpassed every single possible expectation. Now, obviously, that's not the reason that it's successful, that it's just got straight white male representation. I know that. You know that. But the people that are going to get triggered by me making this video are going to...
Yeah, this is all he cares about, not how offensive he could be, people he could trigger. That's what he cares about. And he's trying to he's trying to do a sarcastic proving a point of a narrative that no film should be marketed based on representation, or, that should not be included in marketing at all. And that's his bigoted thinking. Because, let's be real, it's not accurate to the history of Hollywood. And I, for one, do applaud new levels of representation. These new characters are somewhat more interesting to me than some of the other stuff. I was so looking forward to Shang-Chi because I didn't know much about it. I knew Black Panther before there was a Black Panther movie, but I was extremely excited. These new characters excite me more than seeing some of these other characters. I'm still on board for all of it, but I get really excited. And I when you talk to people that care about the representation instead of mocking them, you will get the truth. Even though you may have a friend that is of a different race and they get annoyed with these marketing, it doesn't make you right or them right either. It makes them intolerant of another person's opinion, where it does matter. And they see that these are benchmark films. They are benchmark films. You would not have got Shang-Chi in the 90s or even early 2000s as a superhero film. You would not got Black Panther. We did get Blade, was very, very interesting for the times, but you wouldn't have got these things. You wouldn't have got big studios pumping big funds, maybe something low budget potentially. You would not get these big budget, big box office movies. They do not put money. The money was not behind anyone but white-led men for the longest time in Hollywood. Even women, even white women, did not have it as easier as white men in Hollywood. That's for directing and in front of the screen. It's just facts. These are facts. These aren't opinions. Now, recently, that's changed. And I for one, am intolerant of people mocking representation across the board, blanketly, instead of taking it. Now, I'm up for the argument, case by case basis. Absolutely. Do context, nuance, and case by case basis. I will examine that, each situation. But does Jeremy? No, I don't believe so. I don't believe so at all.
Going to get triggered, and that is the entire point. Now, in terms of everything, this movie was successful for a lot of reasons. There is nostalgia. There is the momentum. There is the marketing that did a fantastic job. It honored the source material. It honored the characters that came before. It paid.
Now, the characters besides Spider-Man, there's a lot of race-bent characters that he picks and chooses when it's most apt. He's no consistency whatsoever with his arguments at all. No consistency. He picks and chooses. Because like Tony said, these characters have been race swapped. When they complain about it in the past, be consistent, bro. This breaks your narrative. Go woke, go broke. It does. Absolutely shatters that narrative. If we're talking about broken narratives, it's not that it proves that woke films don't work. It proves that woke films do work. Can at least work.
proper respect to the stories. It helped build the story through telling previous stories and respecting those stories. And it also didn't attack the fan base, and it didn't push woke marketing. Now, we've heard over and over again from the excuse machine that the reason Eternals lost money, the reason Shang-Chi barely made money, the reason Black Widow lost money was because
Now, Shang-Chi was not in the cultural lexicon like these other characters. People don't know about Shang-Chi. That's not fair. Black Widow, people knew her fate. The movie came too late and was delayed consistently. Eternals, it just didn't resonate with the MCU fans as much as other MCU material. It was still a great film. It could have been better. Definitely could have been better. But these are not failures in any sense of the word. They just, again, we're talking about the internet. You're either a billion or you're a failure. You're a billion or a failure. That's not accurate. These are huge universes, lots of different stories to tell, lots of different box office numbers.
Pandemic. It's a pandemic, and people are scared to leave their house. And anyone that's been paying attention to college football, to professional football, to concerts, they realize people are ready to get out. People are ready to go see things. People want to be entertained.
Now, I do agree with that. If the content is good and strong enough, people are going to want to go out. People want to see these films. They're more choosy than they used to be, honestly. You pick and choose. It's not like every weekend's at the movie theater. Okay, this was an event film. You have to see this. The potential for spoilers was too great, too. I'll be real. Spoilers are what drive people to the theater. I might have to do a separate topic on that. It's a known entity now. Surprises and spoiler talk drives ticket sales. And you know what? The proof's in the pudding. They should do it more often. They should have more surprises and fan service. I know that's also nostalgia and member berries has become a dirty talking point for fandom. But if it leads to success and it doesn't ruin the movie, that's a different topic. If it doesn't ruin the movie, if it's not overly cheesy, the way it's implemented, the context of it, I think they should do it. I think they should examine their options and keep doing this type of content because it works. It makes everyone happy. As long as it doesn't ruin the film. To try to shoehorn cameos and stuff where it's very obviously just there for nothing, for no reason. All right.
The problem is that the movies that have been coming out, generally speaking, have not been entertaining. And when you have a Marvel franchise that has built up the most successful box office run in the history of cinema, and you can't even capitalize off of that momentum with films like Shang-Chi and Black Widow and Eternals, then you clearly see there was a problem. And
this is where I will stop. That's where he's trying to add fuel to his bullshit narrative that the MCU is a dumpster fire because of the lies built upon EVS and Young Ripa. And I will cover that in a separate video because I will consistently cover these topics because ignorant, bigoted comments towards representation need to be called out, and they're not harmless. They're not harmless because this man does have influence. He does have influence on the communities, the talking points, and you need to realize how offensive it is if you say someone's content they're getting a free pass or popped up when they don't deserve it. That is what he is saying. He is saying these films do not deserve it. They're only being propped up because of this, and he's acting like there wasn't he's ignoring the context of Hollywood to say, no film deserves to be propped up. If all things were equal and we didn't have the history of the world and in actual prejudice behavior in backing minorities projects, then yes, you could say. But he is in a fantasy world where he's acting or completely ignorant to the history of Hollywood and how it's worked, and to his own privileged existence. of being a white man and having companies throw money behind you. It's definitely proven. It's not a conspiracy theory. You just don't know, and you're so intolerant of people saying that it is a new level, and you're mocking them. And that's not cool. And that's where I'll end it. And I say to you in the comment section below, let me know how you like the solo vid and topics you want me to cover on these little solo pre-recorded vids. I will say to you good night. More to come. Look out for MME soon. And member stream back this Sunday. Just member stream. No award show, nothing else. And get ready for that giveaway. I'll see you later, guys.